Hey guys, what's up? So today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be playing on a guitar that isn't really quite meant for metal, but I'm going to try anyway, so stay tuned. Okay, so a couple weeks ago I unboxed this guy. This is a Fender American Performer Series Telecaster, and it's one of these guitars that growing up playing kind of like bluesy jazz stuff and then wading into metal as like my kind of like escape genre, whereas what I was being trained in was more kind of rock, blues, and then some jazz stuff. I really always wanted a Telecaster, a Fender Telecaster. And it just so happened that I had the ability to either get this one or a made in Mexico dual humbucker thing. And I have plenty of guitars with dual humbuckers, so I went with the more traditional Telecaster bridge pickup, the single coil, and then in the neck I still have a humbucker, but it's got a coil tap. So I'm just going to play around on this guitar a little bit. I'm going to dial in some tones. And the other thing I have today is a kind of a weird amp that you don't see a whole lot of too much anymore. Not necessarily the Bugera, I'm not sure how to say this. I've been told a bunch of different things. I'm going to stick with Bugera. These are manufactured in the same facility as the Behringer line of stuff brand. I assume it's owned by Behringer. I didn't really do my research on this. All I know is they make copies of different amp circuits, Bugera, and this 1990, this is one of the first editions. This isn't the, they have a whole new Infinium series. It's kind of like an updated version of this. This is an original 1990. This is based off of the Marshall JCM 900, one of the more controversial and kind of hated versions of the Marshall JCM series. But, you know, I got it for like $200, so I was like, well, I'll try it out. Why not? And so it's a single EQ 2-channel amp. I'm assuming it has clipping diodes in the preamp section. It's got the 12AX7s or the ECC83s, however you want to say that. And it has the 5881 power amp tubes, I believe, not EL34s in this one. Either way, we have, you know, master, lead channel, master clean, treble, middle, bass. There's a presence knob. There's no like depth knob or any kind of thing like that. I'm not super familiar with the 900s, but I assume these are all the same controls that the 900 has. All I can tell you is that having owned like a JCM 2000 and some other Marshall amps, one of the things that is still apparent about this is that to get the best tone, you gotta get it kind of loud. It does have the ability to go between pentode and triode mode to cut the voltage down on the tubes to make the wattage output less. I think it sounds kind of terrible in the triode mode. I think the pentode is the only version of this amp that actually sounds good. So I'm going to keep it on that. It's going to get kind of loud. I'm already prepared for that. So without further ado, let me go ahead and just get into what this guitar does. So this... Obviously, I'm on a clean channel. I have a single coil here. You know, being on the clean channel, it's not super noisy yet. Oh, I have my noise gate on. I'll turn that off. A little bit of a 60 cycle hum going on, to be expected. If I go over to the humbucker, it obviously isn't there. There's a little bit of EMI noise from the garage lights and stuff, but turn on the single coil and there's that hum. So here's the clean channel with the bridge pickup. I'm always going to want to do the twangy, plucky thing when it comes to single coils. I don't know why. even though I know doing that just sends this thing way out of tune. Let me tune it up real quick. All right, now I'm back in tune. Either way, the bridge pickup on this is their Yosemite pickup from Fender. It's actually quite a hot pickup for a single coil. It has a decent output. I didn't measure it, but according to the specs, it's up there. And to me, it definitely has a really loud forward sound. Yeah, I'm just getting used to the feel of this thing because unlike other guitars, like metal-oriented guitars, the action on these kind of sits a little bit higher. This is a 9.5 inch radius, so a little bit rounder than the 12 inch that I'm used to on Gibsons. But I really like the feel. I'm getting the hang of kind of how the strings feel. These are like a 9-42 set, really light. But to get that Telecaster sound, you kind of need them to be a little on the light side, so you can get those bends. I'm starting to get back into that whole twangy. I'm not a good chicken picker type. I haven't gotten into that yet, but I'm starting to get those, runs going on. I'm so not good at it right now. So moving on to the neck pickup. Really nice, really warm, open sounding neck pickup. And if you split the neck, yeah, split the neck, it gives you a little bit more of that chime, a little bit more of that twangy sound again. My favorite tone on this guitar for cleans is actually splitting the neck and the bridge pickup with the humbucker engaged. It gets like this really fat, almost like kind of parallel sound. I don't think they're wired in parallel, but it gives you that like hollow spank sound, almost like the fourth position on like a Strat, because it kind of fattens it up with that bridge pickup being a humbucker. If you were to split them, it gets a little bit more anemic sounding. Still cool. But I really like it with that humbucker. I'm going to move on to some gain, and what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to attack the gain on the clean channel here, because On this amp, it actually works really well to do that, to get like a really fat rock tone. Just making sure I'm not clipping my input, which I kind of am a little bit. So I'm gonna turn the master down just a tad. Roll back the tone a little bit. There we go. One of the cool things about the tone knob on this is it has some sort of proprietary tone control where it doesn't really darken the entire frequency spectrum. It just kind of rolls off the highs. Sort of leaves that mid-range clarity intact. So I'm gonna turn the gain down a bit. For some reason, it goes to 11 on here. I think that's like a nod to Spinal Tap. I'm gonna turn it down to like, probably back to like 6 or 7 to where we're pretty clean. Engage an overdrive pedal, maybe turn the dirt up a bit, tone down. Roll down the tone knob on the guitar. An external overdrive, one of the things it does is it gives you a little bit more of that spongy kind of gritty character that, you know, it's not as punchy. On the amp itself, turning that gain up, very punchy in the face. With the overdrive on externally, instead you're getting more of I don't know, more of a saturation overall. I'm already getting into the metal stuff. I really like it with the tone up all the way on the bridge. There's a reverb on here on both channels. Let me go there, put this on, because you could probably get a pretty good clean lead tone out of this. Yeah, I mean, it sounds really good. Now I'm just noodling. I don't know. It's just, a Telecaster is just a really fun guitar to play because it has so much like feel to the strings. Granted, I can tell that I'm I'm bending the hell out of the strings, and these are relatively new strings, so I'm going out of tune constantly because I haven't really done my personal setup on this. Kind of kept it stock. I might go a little bit heavier on the strings just for my own personal taste. I tend to like 10 to 64s, or sorry, 10 to 46s. 9 to 42 is a little bit light, but I don't know. I'm getting a little bit used to them. That's cool. I just really like that middle position. And the more you can drive the preamp section with the gain, the better. If you get too high up, it starts to get really noisy. Yeah, too much gain, gotta scale it back. A lot of bite out of that single coil pickup. All right. Enough with the clean tone stuff. Let's move on to the high gain and see if I don't just make this into a noisy mess. All right, so now I'm on the high gain, and here's what I got. Now, obviously, on the single coil pickup, it's got a lot of bite. It's got a lot of that chirpy pick noise. If I scale back the tone knob a little bit, not too bad. Let me go to the neck pickup. Turn up the reverb a little bit. Very nice, very open, solid, just lead tone for this amp. Up the mids a little bit. Now, one of the things about this amp that's very much like the JCMs, to get the full like bass resonance, you got to turn the volume up just a little bit. I can go up a little bit more before clipping. So yeah, with that fully up, turn on my noise gate. See, turning up the noise gate too much and you get rid of some of that sustain. But if I try to play it at this level with a single coil, especially if it's tones all the way up, some weird feedback. I don't know that I can get away with playing full-on metal on this. I'm going to try, though. I'm going to put on an overdrive pedal. I'm going to put on the TS9 to beef up this signal and take it to 11 and see what we get. So TS9's on, tones all the way up. Nope, can't do it. Let me see if I can turn the noise gate up a little bit. I'll turn the mids down. Bass is fine, presence, all that's fine. gain I can turn maybe down just a tad. I don't know, maybe don't turn towards the amp. Okay, now with the tone knob all the way up. These pickups aren't hot enough to really push past the gate where I need it to be. I'm gonna turn the gate down a little bit. That actually doesn't sound bad at all, especially in the room. I have the tone knob down about a quarter of the way on the tone pot. It's actually pretty tight and percussive. It does pinch harmonics. Honestly, it's not what I bought the guitar for. It's really not what I bought the amp for either. So I thought this was fun. I just wanted to show off this guitar. I don't know how I'm going to incorporate this into the channel beyond this. This is more of just like a personal toy for me. This, I'm kind of lukewarm on what I think about this amp. It's cool. I don't know. I'm going to go pull out a guitar that's meant for high gain so we can hear this high gain channel boosted how I think it should sound, and I'll be right back. All right, so I went ahead and brought out my Schecter Sunset Triad with the Tripocalypse pickup, but I'm just going to use the regular Apocalypse humbucker. And I'm turning off the Ibanez TS9, and here's just the regular high gain tone through this amp. So let me go ahead and turn on an overdrive. We'll be back with the TS9. Yeah, it's cool. It's not like a really throaty mid-range thing going on. Very much reminiscent of the Marshalls. If I turn the treble up, maybe get a little bit more top end. The low end is a little boxy for my taste. Even with the volume up a bit more to kind of fill out the speakers. The bass I have up at like 9. I really got to tack my gate pretty hard to keep it from feedbacking. I'm probably too close to the amp to the speakers. That's probably a big part of it. If I were to stand back, it probably would be better. But overall, the sound of this amp it's okay. Let me try the Dire Wolf. Yeah, okay, I bet my neighbors hate me now because that is super loud in the room. Like, I should be wearing earplugs, but I'm not. And so I'm not going to do any more of that. Interesting amp. You know, I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. This actually might be one of those ones that if I can find a friend who does amp stuff, maybe they'll be willing to go in and maybe mess around with it. I don't know yet. I could do the Mr. Scary mod. I think this has the ability to take one of those on. But I don't know. The gain in here is already pretty good, even with the boost. It's the EQ that I find to be a little bit lacking and needing a little bit of tweaking. Doesn't sound bad. It's just not my favorite. I think maybe for the bluesy rock stuff, it might actually be better. So the Telecaster was probably an appropriate one for this amp. But either way, I just thought I would kind of mess around in my garage with my new Telecaster with this amp and give you guys some insight into these products. One of which isn't even really available in this form. Anyway, so I'll see you guys later.